We're sitting around tonight watching the NBA draft, and there's a ton of trade action out there in the association and also in Major League Baseball, and we're still waiting on the Max Scherzer rumor to drop. We'll see what happens next. That and more. This is the We Don't Know Sports Podcast. Stay tuned. Welcome back once again to the We Don't Know Sports Podcast. This is Chad the Mark with
Mr. Brown, and it feels like an eternity.
Canadian Biggie bringing you all the basketball updates.
We're going to need that. I guess it does feel like an eternity for you because you were in Georgia.
Yeah.
And then last week had a family emergency, didn't do a show, but now we're back and we're watching the NBA draft here in the background. We're already on pick 8 here. Any shocking developments so far here, Biggie?
To me, the only one that really surprised me was that Jalen Suggs didn't go at 4.
Okay.
So far.
He's having nightmares as a Bulls fan with Scott Barnes going at 4, and he's thinking of Patrick Williams, another 6 man from Florida State.
Me and you looked at each other, and it was that same thing where they show his stats, and he averaged 10 points, 4 assists. What's this guy doing getting picked 4th? Just like Patrick Williams last year, and from Florida State, same setup, same system. You come off, you don't even play 30 minutes a game, but somehow you're a top 5 pick.
So that's their strategy for long-term growth is just to take the 6 men?
Yeah.
Okay, that works. I like it.
Bulls don't have a first-round pick this year. They traded it for Valadichushish from the Magic.
That's why he wanted traded is because they couldn't say his name right, isn't it?
Well, I can't say anybody's name right, so don't base it off me.
Ooh. Franz Wagner. No, how do you say his name? You say it different. It's Wagner.
Wagner.
No, Wagner.
Yeah.
Because he's German.
The W is like a V.
All right, so Wagner from Michigan got drafted.
Can he just go with Franz? Like the new Giannis?
You can.
This is the new Giannis with Franz.
He's the genetic German jackhammer.
That's right. The new Dirk.
2 things about how this draft started. One, Cade Cunningham, who we all know, played at Oklahoma State. ESPN hyped him up. Number 1 pick. We knew he was the number 1 pick, a week ago, a month ago. The number 2 pick, Jalen Green, was a guy who could have went to college, played ball. He chose the G League route. You're seeing more of these guys that take that route that go in the top 5.
Yeah, so we were getting ready to get into this conversation now with the name, image, and likeness in college basketball, college sports in general being a thing now. Are you still going to see as many people jump into the G League?
Hell no, because you'll make more money at Duke than you will in the G League.
I mean, you will, but I know the answer, but how often do they really make them sit in class?
They don't. They don't.
Wait a minute.
They all get tutors.
You're insinuating
do the work.
that these kids don't go to college classes?
No, I am saying you, as a fact, they don't go to class.
Oh.
Is that like the Jim Herrick class back in the day? Do you remember that?
They attend basket weaving 101.
No, it's underwater lunchbox repair.
That's one too. Do you remember the Jim Herrick thing?
I remember it being a big deal, but I can't remember.
Not going into a lot of detail because everybody's going to get bored. But if you get time, Google Jim Herrick when he's at Georgia and look at the quizzes he gave his class, which is mostly his players, and it was like, how many meals do normal people eat a day? Breakfast, lunch, dinner. It was things like that. Or it'd be like, how far away is the free throw line from the basket?
Honestly, though, and I agree with you, I think that the players are going to go where they think the money is, and if they think they're going to make more money from the endorsements as opposed to the G League, regardless of class situation, they're going to go where they think the money is.
So we're talking basketball right now, but I can go ahead and tell you, like I was just saying, that's kind of the same thing you said, they'll go where the money is. The G League will die because of this as far as the young guys going into it. Is it Bryce Wilson, the Alabama quarterback, who's made $1 million? He's never started a game. You're telling me Zion couldn't have went to Duke and made $1 million as opposed to the G League?
$1 million. Zion just on the shoe deal.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So these big-time schools are going to profit even more because Nick Saban's comment when talking about the money that he was getting in endorsements was, it's our brand. It's the Duke brand. If you're a big name and you're going to go to college.
If you're the heir apparent there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever shoe deal Zion had before he blew the shoe out, he would have got a second shoe deal with another $1 million, saying that we actually got stable shoes for fat people, and you're going to be just fine with us.
He was so explosive, we had to redesign and revolutionize the Zion 2.0.
So who would that be? Is it Kanye?
The Yeezys?
Yeah. Would he be the guy?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I think the G League goes back to being what it was. Guys who go into the draft early, don't get drafted, get a chance. They play
your hanger-ons, things like that. Now, I mean, whether that or the NBA could raise the salaries there.
They could.
We'll see.
They could. I just don't see it happening.
I mean, it just depends. Like, I don't know. Like, was any of these guys able to make money on their own already? Like, were they?
Not yet. No.
I mean, so they might have had a 3 million Instagram follower. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, anything can happen. But I'm with you. Is that why Coach K and Roy Williams are getting out of the game? Are they?
I think it is.
The game's changed.
They won't say it, but I think that's why it is.
Now, going back, you mentioned Alabama, though. Does Nick Saban not seem like the kind of guy that's just going to navigate these waters precisely and capitalize on this?
Oh, yeah. You know what's coming.
I mean, but look at the waters he's navigating.
Yeah, I mean,
so, like, come on, man.
Dude, we're already doing this. This is great. We already know how to do this.
I just love his comment when they were talking about his quarterback who has not yet started a game making almost $1 million in endorsements. And he looks at him and he goes, well, it's our brand. Just as I'm Alabama. Get off me. All my kids will do this.
You know what I heard when I saw that? I was thinking of Blue Chips automatically.
Yeah. Yep.
Neon Bodo.
Yep.
That's all I thought of.
If you don't know that movie, it's from what, 95, 96?
Nick Nolte, right?
Nick Nolte is in that.
Look it up.
It's the year that Penny Hardaway was a rookie in the NBA.
What's weird about it is I always think that like Penny or the white dude's name's Butch, but it's not. That's Penny. The white dude from like somewhere in Larry Bird land who shot on the hoop with like no net.
Yep.
He was killer.
Yep.
So I don't remember what his name is.
I don't either. I was
hoping you remember that.
No, but you think his name's Butch, but that's Penny.
I mean,
how is that Penny?
It doesn't.
He went to play with Butch because his
name was Ricky something.
Tractor.
Ricky something.
Yeah.
Ricky Road.
Ricky Road.
Maybe. I just remember it being Ricky.
That's what it was.
All right. Keep staying on course with NBA, though. We did have a big trade. Do you have the details of this trade, Biggie?
So Russell Westbrook is going to the Lakers.
So Brody going back to LA.
Yep. And he played college ball at UCLA. He's a Southern California guy. Kyle Kuzma.
Which has been every trade topic the Lakers have had for the past 2 years. They finally
found somebody that would take him.
Now who are we going to talk about?
KCP and somebody else went to
Montrezl Harrell.
Montrezl Harrell and the Lakers' first-round pick this year.
Which won't be a lot.
They get Westbrook back and 2 second-rounders that come over the next 5 years. So basically, it was Westbrook for KCP, Kuzma, Harrell, and their first-round pick this year.
So if you're the Wiz, like, you feel okay with this, right?
Good.
Well, especially when Bradley Beal has come out and said, I never made a request to be traded.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, with Bill at the 2, Kuzma, I'm sorry. Look at every Lakers player that LeBron, and air quotes you can't see, didn't approve of. Look at freaking every player that LeBron didn't approve of, went to another place. They balled out.
Julius Randle.
Yeah.
Lonzo Ball became a good player.
What about other guy in New Orleans?
Josh Hart and Brandon Ingram, who became an all-star.
Yeah.
They balled out. So Kuzma is going to be a 20-point game guy. You watch and see.
Yeah, I just shared that in the basketball group with those guys leaving. I said the same thing. Everyone who was left who was in LA when LeBron got there has benefited greatly from leaving there.
You think I'm selling it high with Kuzma at 20?
No.
He can get 20, right?
Yeah.
In Washington?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, on to LA, Biggie. You got Westbrook, who's Pat Stadden, getting a triple-double, passing Oscar Robinson. Got to contend with LeBron James. They both have to be ball dominant, so they all like their stats. What's going to happen in LA?
It's going to be really interesting. The thing that gets me the most is that LeBron and Russ are so ball dominant. How are they going to play together?
I mean, LeBron's still going to have the ball. It's how is Russ going to play with LeBron?
Exactly. And does it become a thing where it blows up because Russ has got an ego?
the player efficiency rating they have in the NBA is actually a pretty good tool to measure like how good a player is. Because we always get caught up on Brody's stats. You know, he's Mr. Triple-Double. He's Mr. Oscar Robertson. So number one last year was Jokic. All right, Joker was number one. Number two was Embiid. Number three was
We're talking about efficiency.
Okay. Greek Freak 3, Zion 4, Jimmy Butler 5. Butler surprises me being that high, but overall, like, kind of stands out, right? Yep. Let's see.
LeBron, AD, and Westbrook.
Well, AD is the third highest. LeBron is the second highest all time. AD's third highest of all time.
Of all time.
Jordan's number one.
All right.
I'm trying to see where our boy is, Westbrook, for last year, and he is not in the top 50.
You kidding?
I'm not kidding. Let me go to the next page. I got to find him. Let's see. Where is he? Oh, there he is, 56.
Oh.
Russell Westbrook is your 56th player efficiency guy.
The other part of this trade is you traded your first-round pick this year, and you traded your depth. So now you have a team who's injury-prone. LeBron, who the last couple of years has shown his age and now becomes injury-prone. Westbrook, who has had injury issues. You have 3 aging stars and no depth. Those guys go down. The Lakers are going to be tough to be in the top 4 in the West.
But this is what you're doing, right? It's all or nothing now.
Yeah. They've got to be all or nothing in LeBron's twilight years.
Yep.
That's all they can.
I mean, he's got like 2 years, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know how well the second year is going to go.
I don't know how well this year is going to go. I give the Lakers credit for going all in because you have AD, who is still into his prime. LeBron's right at the end, but he is still a really, really good player in the league.
Right.
They're going for it, and they should. I just don't think it's going to work out the way they want it to.
I mean, I don't either. Like, Kobe was chugging along. What was it? His Achilles?
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, he was no longer Kobe.
Yep.
That quick. Flash in the pan. He's done. And then I don't even want to see what happens next.
No,
it's just really interesting to see how they're going to play because LeBron is an extremely plodding player. He doesn't fast break. They rebound. They walk it up the floor. They use the whole shot clock. Westbrook is the human fast break.
But Biggie.
Individual. Gets the rebound, goes the whole way.
LeBron takes the breaks on the defensive side, man. He's going to be good for, 4 or 5 more years?
No, he is the guy. He's the best I've ever seen at taking a break.
He's saving that energy, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. But all right, so Lakers with the adjustments, if you had to pick where they finish at in the West.
I'd say third.
All right. Where they finish this year?
I think they were second this year. They were second.
No, they were.
They were seventh, I mean.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now they got rid of all their depth, and Westbrook's going to propel them from 7th to 3rd.
If they're all healthy, I think they could be top 3.
So you think they're all going to be healthy?
It was still a weird season.
Well,
it was.
My honest opinion, and everybody thinks I hate LeBron, which I do because he's a bitch, but I think that they're 7th or 8th again. I think they're back in the playoff tournament that he loves because they're injured throughout the season. They have no depth. I think their ceiling is a top 3 team in the West.
Here's my straight up pick right now is they're a 4 or 5 seed. They're in that game between the 4 and 5.
I think their ceiling is 5 because of health. I don't.
There's no depth.
When I look at this trio of AD, LeBron, and Westbrook, I think of Scotty, Charles, and Akeem.
How'd that work out?
Or Nash, Malone. Who was the other one in L.A.?
It wasn't Nash. It was
Gary Payton.
Gary Payton, Malone, and who else?
Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah, there you go.
Just brought in the old G's.
Yeah.
They brought Nash in to play for 2 years with Kobe, and he never suited up. He just took all the money.
I feel like that kind of right now.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
It is. All right.
So, like, before we touch on the Lakers, but, like, everyone wants to crap all over the Bucks. And, like, they won the championship. We haven't talked since they won the championship. So, the Bucks, are they a formidable chance to repeat, or is that just a flash in the pan? Or is like, you know what I mean? Does it depend on the Nets? Or what do we think?
I think it's almost impossible for them to repeat, and that's not a slight to them. I just think it's that hard in general. And then, let's be honest, if the Nets are healthy and get their stuff together, like, who touches them?
Nobody.
Right. And that's it's not fair to Milwaukee this year because everyone's sliding the championship.
But I'm glad Giannis capitalized on what he had because now he's got the chip and he can like be done with it. Now he can focus on just getting better.
And he earned that Finals MVP.
Yeah.
Like he went out in style.
I saw two things and I agreed with them both. And one was Charles Barkley saying that if you're not happy for Giannis, he is what is right with the game, then there's something wrong with you because he did it the right way. And the second thing is the fact he could play at an MVP level in the finals about 3 weeks after his knee completely going the wrong way just blows my mind.
Yeah, I no rumors of surgery or anything happened. I guess he's okay, but yeah.
When I was watching that game, I texted Biggie and I was like, Giannis is out for the playoffs.
It looked bad.
And immediately, I was watching the game and his knee bent backwards. So then he goes to the back, he goes to the locker room, and he's hobbling around. And then he comes out walking, and I'm thinking, is this Willis Reed? And then he sits out the rest of the game. He didn't come back out, but he was walking around. It's like, that's a good sign. And then he comes the rest of the stretch of the playoffs, and he's a madman.
Well, he played game one against the Suns. I think he had like 20 points. And I'm like, oh, he's not right. He's not right. This is over. And then he comes out in the next game, gets like 40. It's just, it's one of those.
Game 6 is one of the most legendary performances.
What was the stat line? What was the stat line?
It was like 50, 14.
50 points, 18 of 20 from the foul line where he was shooting horrible.
Oh, yeah, can't shoot free throws.
He had like 14 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 blocks. It was amazing. We came home. They scored 105 points. He had 50. Give me the ball. Get the hell out of the way. We're not losing. We're winning a title.
Right. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, how do you not?
I like it.
And what did he say about doing it the hard way?
Could have went to a super team, done my part. That'd have been okay. But you know what? Did it the right way.
I think he cued Frank Sinatra and said, I'm going to do it my way.
That's right.
Here's the thing about them. Him and Middleton came in together as rookies. 15 wins their rookie season. They're the two people that they kept together. Now they're NBA champions.
They are. Yeah. All right. We could talk for once a lot about NBA because it's been a minute. We've been relatively positive here, but let's go to some other things. So we talk about how LeBron, he's telling you who's on his team, things like that. Well, Aaron Rodgers decided to show back up in Green Bay yesterday, and he has a little bit of stuff to get off his chest, and it sounds a lot like the same type of thing. He wants to know why he's not involved in decision making. And I guess before we dive into all that, did you watch the presser? Did you hear what he had to say? What was your thoughts?
I watched the presser and I absolutely loved it. And I wish every presser from every pro athlete was as honest as that one was, because he went back to 4 and 5 years ago about guys leaving the team like Clay Matthews and being sent out the door without a contract. And they were a core part of the team and you gave them no respect.
Speaking of being honest, okay, you all know me as the baseball guy. I was today years old when I realized that the Green Bay Packers are the only team in professional sports not owned by a traditional owner.
Are you serious?
Swear to God.
You never knew that.
No,
I'm extremely disappointed.
I'm the baseball guy, man.
But that's because they're such an outlier. I
actually had one of my soups come to me, and she's a Green Bay Packers fan. Packers. She's a Green Bay Packers fan, and she was like, because she was talking about it. She was like, is this normal for Rodgers to request all this? I'm like, well, the owners, they kind of do what they want to do. It's every franchise is run differently. She's like, I'm pretty sure that the Green Bay Packers are owned by the people of Wisconsin. I'm like, wait a minute, let me Google that.
Yeah, they have like a ton of minority owners.
All I'm saying is I learned something today, and shame on me. You can shame me all you want for the rest of the year, but my philosophy in life is learn something new every day. And I did that.
And you know what? I'll shame you on another day, but I'm just proud of you for coming clean on that.
I wanted to speak honestly, okay?
That means a
lot.
My
cousin Drake owns part of the Packers.
Really? I knew people had stock in it, but I never knew that was there was no real owner.
Yeah.
I knew people that had stock, but I never even thought about it.
So they still have a GM.
We don't know sports.
Team president.
There you go.
Clearly.
Sorry, guys.
But
I'll stick to my baseball.
I like the honesty.
I like I said, we're not going to shit on you today because of the honesty.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
So they have a GM though, which doesn't seem like A-Rod likes him very much at all. He just decided to give all his grievances, and we're going to hear about all of it. It was like Festivus in July. The thing was, now they're bringing back like an old Randall Cobb and things like, is that really
Do you
what
see the comment from the GM on the bring back of Randall Cobb? This is what Aaron wanted, so we did it.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, we came to a deal. We worked things out.
So the best part of yesterday was his presser, which was completely honest. The second best part was the shirt he wore into his
t-shirt
presser.
was fire.
What was the T-shirt?
You didn't see the T-shirt?
What was it?
It was like NBA Jam. It was NBA Jam.
Oh, no, with The Office.
Yeah.
I seen that.
Yeah.
I seen that.
The Kevin Malone versus the Chili.
Straight up fire.
Yes.
So, like, another meme I saw was that he completely crapped all over his franchise that he's worked for the last several years, and there's nothing they can do about it because guess what? They need Aaron Rodgers more than he needs them because if he says, I'm out, and they got to work it out, every team would line up to be with this guy. So, like, the Packers are like, what do we do?
Yeah, well, they're doing the right thing. But is this...
Cave in. That's what you do.
Is this not the... is this the NBA-ing of the NFL where your star players now need, like, especially your quarterbacks, like the whole thing with Russ Wilson happened this year too, right? Like he started a big huff about wanting to be involved in personnel matters. Like my question is, what quarterbacks out there are legitimately part of these conversations? And is it being part of the conversations or being involved in the decisions?
I'll just say it isn't the start of the NBAing of the NFL for one reason with Rodgers. As powerful he is coming off an MVP season, he had two choices, show up and play for the Packers or retire.
Yeah.
It's not like he said, this is what you're going to do and here's where you're going to trade me, which does happen in the NBA.
That's true. But are we getting to a new era where players are having – I mean, I'm not used to players having control over personnel decisions in football.
I have a huge question with this. So – you got a player like Aaron Rodgers or any other, it don't have to be a franchise quarterback, but like, let's say a Christian McCaffrey or anybody that gives their life and their body for the next 8 to 10 years, 20 years if you're a quarterback, whatever. Do they have the right to say, I want us to go in this direction? What is their rights in regards to the organization? I guess is my question because that's where we're going.
I mean, I guess it depends on your status. You don't want to be Le'Veon Bell.
And every organization is different. Some of them are going to be like, listen, this is how we run it.
This
either
not
like
the
it or get out.
Patriot way.
Or others will be like, we'd love to have your input.
I mean, look, that's why Brady's out in New England, right?
Right. But I mean, at what point is it like
He's a pretty good GM.
Is it just an individual case by case thing, and is that where we're at? I mean,
I think that you don't have a voice.
Sorry,
you don't have a voice unless you're a key player on the team.
You got to be a star. You got to be.
You don't have to be an NFL
famer.
superstar, but you have to be the man in the locker room if you're going to have those opinions and want them to be respected.
Yeah.
So, do you fault Aaron Rodgers in this situation?
No, I don't.
I don't either.
And here's the reason I don't. Like, the people who say Aaron Rodgers has nothing, shut up. He's got the best wide receiver in the game, a top 5 line, a top 10 running back. The thing that the Packers do is that they're always looking 2 years down the road instead of this year. And when your quarterback gets long on the tooth, make it push. The Patriots did it. One of the reasons they were so far over the cap last year, they went after Super Bowls. When you have Aaron Rodgers, go after a couple frickin' Super Bowls. Don't rely on him being frickin' Superman to get you there.
They never drafted the skill position. But I love everything you just said. The only thing I wish you'd done a little bit better is wink over at your son wearing the Vikings jersey and be like, you're second no matter how long you're alive.
Kirk Cousins, Buzz Lightyear. Never going away. Second place, baby.
You look at this Dalvin Cook jersey like, wah, wah, wah.
I bet
he'll be injured by week 4.
Yeah.
He still misses Stephon Diggs, but it's okay. The last thing, just to kind of bring the Rodgers conversation back and close it down here, is, you know, it's one thing to demand everything the team does, but unless something's different happening behind closed doors, all he's saying is he wants a conversation. He wants involved in the decision. If you're going to go let a guy who's been a big contributor on the team and been a big part of what they've built go, like, can we at least talk about it first? Because he's not saying that if they came back and said, look, this is the cap space we're in, this is what we got to do. Like, we don't know how to make it work. Like, we got to do something here. And, you know, because A-Rod, he said it's not about being the highest paid quarterback. So maybe if that happens, he might be like, well, let me restructure my contract a little bit. I mean, maybe to go back to Brady, you know, how many times has he restructured his deal?
Yep.
At least 6, 7 times maybe. Maybe that's because they did bring him in on those conversations sometimes. So I mean, it's something that's out there, but like you said, it's for the few select. There's only so many people you're giving that voice to. That's it.
I agree.
All right. I'm glad NFL's almost back. We're talking about this stuff like it's tomorrow. I can't wait.
Draft will be here before you know it.
It's that meme looking at an empty pool.
Fantasy draft, that is.
It'll be here soon enough, guys. Just wait. Patience.
It will be. You know what? But football's done a good job keeping us entertained in the offseason because we also have a cataclysmic collegiate event happening right now. It is Deep Impact. It is Armageddon. It is the whatever you want to call it, Sharknado, if you will.
Sharknado is appropriate.
That's about
especially when you ask Big 12 and ESPN.
Is that Tara Reid with 3 different size tits?
I think you're combining that and Total Recall, maybe. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
But nobody knows who Tara Reid is anymore.
Oh, okay.
She was in American Pie once.
Yes.
The biggest thing going on here is we all have heard the news. Texas, Oklahoma, they're in the SEC. We don't know when. It might be 2025, but it could be sooner because if you ask Bob Bowlesley, the Big 12 commissioner, if he had his way, it would be never because he's going to tell ESPN that they're responsible for all this.
So what was that, a cease and desist order?
Cease and desist.
So he's trying to implicate ESPN as manipulating these 2 schools to leave the conference?
Yeah, so he's got some type of smoking gun or an email or something somewhere that has ESPN communicating with other conferences.
Saying if you were to do this and this were the conference that existed, hypothetically, we could renew your TV rights and here's what each school would get.
Right. So here's the problem, though. And this is where Bob Bowlesby's doing everything to save the Big 12 because now if you were, let's say, West Virginia or Oklahoma State or Kansas State, let's say you were talking to the ACC or the Pac-12 or the Big 10 or whoever, right? Now, all of a sudden, you can't really have these conversations anymore because you know how those conferences are. They're talking to the ESPN networks, the Fox networks, and saying, hey, if we add this team and that team, how's our TV contract going to look now? Well, you can't have those conversations because Big 12 is done screwing it up for everybody because they're getting hosed. I mean, it's a mess. So, what's the end game here? What's going to happen?
Well, I don't think anything changes as far as Texas and Oklahoma joining the SEC. It happens. It's just when it happens and how long the Big 12
Where do you set the
conference.
over-under on that happening?
So I would say the 2024 season, which is this football season and next, 2 more football seasons is the max of Big 12 football.
So that'd be 2023.
Or 2023, yes.
Okay. I'm with you there. There's no way it goes all the way to 2020.
No way. It can last 2 more years, and that's it. To be honest with you, whether it's announced or not, if I'm Oklahoma State and I have the kind of boosters that they do, I'm looking out west at the Pac-12 because they would love to have me with my facilities that are some of the best in the nation. Forget the Big 12. Everybody's leaving. I'm not going to the SEC. Where is my next step? I don't want to become irrelevant. Same thing we've talked about with West Virginia. If they're not on the horn with the ACC doing anything they can to get in, they're idiots.
Yeah, but here's the caveat to all this, right? So as long as there's a Big 12, Texas and Oklahoma's on the hook. They right now, if they both left, it'd cost them both around $75 to $85 million. So if the Big 12 doesn't exist, then they can go. They need 2 or 3 more schools to bail out so they can just kill the conference. But it seems like they're damn determined not to let it die, but they might as well because anything they do to replace Texas and Oklahoma is going to be an insult to Power 5 football.
Yeah, I think there's 3 schools that could break the Big 12 with those 2 already leaving. West Virginia is one. Oklahoma State is the second. The third one, I think, with where they are right now, having just won a national championship in basketball and having a pretty good football program over the years, Baylor may be, appealing to certain people. I know behind the scenes that they're not appealing at all, but on the football and basketball field, they're a school that would be worth adding.
I mean, I don't know. They got a rocky history. I think.
And I also think that Iowa State to the Big Ten would be a done deal.
Yeah, and Kansas will follow right along with them. They are the only members of the Big 12 left that are part of that illustrious group of colleges, the Legion of Doom or whatever they're called.
TCU, Texas Tech, who else is out there? that are nobodies in our conference.
Yeah, I mean that's it, man. It's done. It's going to die a slow death. It's just, is it going to take 2 years, 3 years, 1 year?
I just have one question for you. Was it really worth it for the Big 12 to make the horns down a flag when Texas is leaving the conference?
I mean, I guess but the point is, if they're not in the conference, who cares, right?
It ain't going to be a flag this year.
Yeah. It's NA, right?
That's right.
On your application, right?
For now.
Yeah.
I'll say this, too, before we get further into it, because they're going to expand the playoff. I think they hold a couple years to see how this plays out. Oklahoma will still be Oklahoma going into the SEC. They're a top-tier football program. Texas has not been that for a number of years.
What's Texas going to be now?
Texas is going to become whatever Mr. Brown says they become.
No, we talked about that. Me and Biggie talked about this weekend in the line of Tudor's Biscuit World, which if you're not familiar with West Virginia, get a Tudor's Biscuit. Anyways, we're like, how is Texas, like, they're making these demands? And, like, who cares? You're Texas. Everybody's doing horns down to you guys because you suck. Oklahoma, I can understand. You're jumping in the SEC. Oklahoma will compete. I'm not saying they'll win the conference, but they'll compete because it's Oklahoma. But Texas, you're crap.
Yep.
And that's my point. In basketball and in football, I know you got a history. I got it. But, like, it's not what's going on right now. Those guys ain't coming through the tunnel.
You mean Texas isn't back?
No.
Damn.
No.
One day they will be.
No. I'm just saying. Just because you run out there with a bull as your mascot, one day that's going to be outlawed.
At PETA, they're on.
Yeah,
but you're right about Texas. It's all about the money. They have this illusion that they're still going to be competitive there, and it's I think Biggie and I was talking about this one day. Texas is like the high maintenance girlfriend that they look nice and everything, but man, they are a train wreck. You don't want anything to do with them. And like Texas A&M is looking at SEC like, you guys, you don't want to bring that. You don't want to bring her to dinner. Like,
no,
it's
you don't.
Not a good idea. But I got to share this analogy with you. I don't know where I heard it. Somebody on the radio was talking about it, that college football is going to be NASCAR because NASCAR at a certain point reached the pinnacle of popularity. I would say college football has been pretty damn popular, but in a strategic series of events to try to make NASCAR super better, they tried to appeal to a mass audience. They tried to tweak things. They changed how the races were decided. All the things that they built a foundation on that got them success, they changed, altered, and tweaked. And now what is NASCAR?
It's also ran number 7 in America.
Yeah, I mean, it's right behind the PBA. I mean,
if it's not Days of Thunder NASCAR, I don't want it.
Right. And the problem with college football now is you're forgetting what it's built on. You're eliminating the regional rivalries. You're putting everything about money. And eventually what you're going to have is the SEC is going to be 24 or 32 teams, and they're not going to need the NCAA anymore, and it's going to ruin the sport.
You know what threw me off, and I know Biggie wants to jump in, because I said this and you jumped in immediately, and I was more thinking geographically. Obviously, I know the money is what it is.
That's why we're here, is the money.
But I was like, SEC reached out to Michigan and Ohio State or somebody, right?
Allegedly, but yeah.
But like I said, like, that don't even make sense. And you're like, absolutely it does because of money. But I'm like, it don't make sense. Geographical rivals. It's so disgusting. That's where we're at.
It is,
and that's what made my skin like just crawl when you said so quickly. Of course, it makes sense
because that's where we're at now. They don't
it's
care.
It's nothing against you, but it made me just disgusted.
It's the state of affairs. It's the same reason. Like Oklahoma,
can I get upset?
Yes, I'm upset. Like they don't care about Bedlam. Mm-hmm. They don't care about playing Oklahoma State every year anymore.
Here's what it is. It's what you just said. The money aspect of it is that they're making all these moves because it makes so much money, so much sense money-wise. It's your NASCAR situation. We're doing it. We're making money. We're so popular. Well, you made every decision based off of money that you lost to fans who like to see Pitt.
The fact is, Virginia, these people, and I hate to cut you off, these people in these tailgates, they're seeing the rivalry, Michigan State. whatever. The fact is, they're in these tailgates and they're loving life. It's a big rivalry, and we're just going to throw it away based on money. The fact is, that's what makes it great, because the experience of the fans being there, young or old, whether you're a graduate, just a fan, or an actual student, that's what makes college football great.
Look at the ones that have died because of how it's changed. Like, Notre Dame used to play certain schools every year, and they had to give those up. And whether you like Notre Dame or not, there was just a lot of tradition in playing Michigan State, Michigan, and USC every year. That's all died. You get to a point to where, like Chet said, with all the money, you get rid of all the rivalries, and all it becomes this guy, Bill Ryder, I'll listen to him sometimes on the radio. He said it perfectly. You were saying the SEC has like 24 teams. What he says is they have 32 teams, and they're the 32 best football teams in the country, and they model the SEC as
after
now
the
NFL 2.0.
Yep. And at that point, we'll just play each other. We don't need to play, Western Kentucky and Marshall and Wake Forest and teams like, no, we'll just.
So now Washington State and Washington, who are in the Apple Cup every year, and the people love that. Neither one of them are in the SEC, so now they might as well be Minnesota State with Coach, Hayden Fry.
Fox.
Yeah,
Hayden Fry was in Iowa. It's okay.
Sorry.
Know your coaches, but it's sad. I mean, Mr. Brown's tangent. That's how a lot of people.
I don't even get excited about that.
But that's how most people feel, because you're especially if you're not an Alabama fan, if you're not a Texas fan, you're wounded right now. It sucks.
So I just have a question for both you guys before we move on. The big talk is WVU to the ACC. Does it happen? Yes or no?
I mean,
no, just yes or no.
No.
Mr. Brown?
I'm going to say yes just because I want it to happen. Is that fair?
That's fair. I admire that. I wish I could say yes, but I don't think it'll happen.
I want it to happen, so I'm saying
I'm going to wish it into existence.
All right. I hope me just being negative and pessimistic is just that natural state of affairs I'm in, and it'll still happen.
Hey, it's business like normal with Chad and Mark.
It is. The sky is falling. That's just how I feel. I mean, what? If you're the ACC right now and you got to prevent Florida State and Clemson getting poached one day by the SEC. Yeah. So what are you doing right now? They just tried to renegotiate their TV deal with the ACC a couple years ago, and or ESPN and the ACC TV deal. They tried to renegotiate for more money, and ESPN said no. So you got to go back to the drawing board. What two teams do you try to add to show that you need a new TV deal?
Well, if I were the ACC, I'd be looking at West Virginia and Notre Dame. West Virginia brings you a top 25 program most years on both the basketball court and the football field. And that's what
basketball don't matter about any of this.
Oh, but come on, it should.
But it doesn't. You know it.
And Notre Dame, you were telling me when they signed to the ACC in every sport other than football, they signed an agreement saying they couldn't join another conference as a member in football for 20 years.
Correct.
So it's Notre Dame and one other school.
So if Notre Dame goes to the ACC, then the ACC is making as much money as the SEC.
Yes.
Like that. That's how that works.
Let's do it.
But how is Notre Dame, who has not been relevant at the top tier year in and year out for how long? How do they have that much power?
You've seen Rudy.
They were in the playoff last year.
Yeah. Once in a blue moon, and they get to the playoff and they get smoked.
Yeah.
Playoff?
And you're wanting to know why West Virginia is so enticing for the ACC.
It just blows my mind that Notre Dame still has that much power. Sorry.
So they have the TV contract. They have the deal. But with us, here's the thing about like West Virginia, Texas Tech, schools like that. Like there's no TV market there. You're not. I mean,
if you took West Virginia's program and you put them where Rutgers is, everybody in the country would want them.
Yeah, because they're in the New York market.
Yep.
Even like that's why Cincinnati might be an option they add before West Virginia.
Just because of the market,
right?
Not because of the school, of the program.
Yep.
And it's such horseshit.
It is. It sucks because we're on the outside looking in. So I have it's. Bobby Knight once had a great quote that if rape is inevitable, just lie back and enjoy it. So I'm just lying back. And,
oh, my God.
That's how it feels right now. I'm clearly paraphrasing. We have breaking news. Somebody play a clip. We got all kinds of trades happening out there. We already talked about the NBA and all the fun trades that were going on there, but let's go to the world of baseball. So we've had some people who have been active. We know the Yankees have done some things, but what just came in for breaking news? What is the deal of the day?
The trade earlier today that was dead certain to go to the Padres of Max Scherzer has now went to the Dodgers, with Max Scherzer and Trey Turner going to the Dodgers for a couple of Dodgers pro prospects and Josiah Gray, who's made a couple starts for them.
What's your source, Biggie? Because I'm still not seeing it.
Bleacher Report and ESPN both are reporting.
It's finalized.
Yeah.
They named prospects that are going through.
Yeah.
Nationals receive Dodgers prospects, catcher Kelbert Ruiz, right-handed pitcher Josiah Gray, and 2 other prospects.
Okay. So Dodgers still the favorite to win the NL.
Oh, my God.
It's ridiculous.
So here's the thing with the NL West. How are the Giants still there? Right?
Well, that's the thing. Dodgers have had enough of that crap, and they're ready to put them to bed.
So the Giants are still – everyone forgets the Giants are in first place.
They are in first.
And then it's the Dodgers, and then it's the Padres. Yeah. So the rumor was it was going to the Padres, and now it's went to the Dodgers. If the Dodgers truly get Trey Turner and Max Scherzer, it's World Series, baby.
It's got
the 2 sides are now awaiting medical reports to be cleared, and then the trade's official.
So it's done. So do we know how many years both these studs have left on their contracts?
Barrios to the Padres is the current rumor.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
I like that. I almost like that as much. But we'll see.
But, yeah.
The Trey Turner thing's the difference.
So because that's – I mean, he's the best.
But where does Trey Turner play with L.A.? They got Justin Turner, who's a cult hero, and they have freaking Corey Seager. So we're going to throw somebody at second base?
Could be. I don't think they have an all-star at second base.
So now one of those moves to second base, and then Pujols was on first. Now Max Muncy goes to first, and Pujols is a bench bat, which he should be all along.
I mean, that's a terrible problem to have, I guess. Yeah. The rich just get richer. I mean, what are you going to do?
I just feel like Jim Carrey on the set of Ace Ventura. Came out like Ray Finkel, and I ran out of breath. That's what just happened.
You didn't throw up, though.
Yeah. And a model American.
I do want to say, although they will not be competitive as it goes down in the AL East, the Yankees traded for Anthony Rizzo. Growing up, the Cubs were always the lovable losers. Now the guy who got the last out that took him to the World Series and the last out of the World Series is gone.
And everyone's shitting all over the Yankees because they didn't get no pitching. But guess what? Have you seen the clip of him throwing to Freddie Freeman?
He's got some movement on that.
He throws a screwball.
And how did Freddie deal with that?
He laughed it off. But deep down he knew his feelings were hurt.
Because he struck out.
Yeah. It was a real pitch. It wasn't like we're going to float it up there like Rookie of the Year when he lost his arm. This guy threw a legit fastball based on his ability, and Freddie Freeman choked under pressure.
He was. He thought it was the changeup. He was unaware of the velocity issue. But so the Yankees, I mean, they're still not going to even make the playoffs, are they?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, it's the Red Sox and Rays in the division. I mean, I
think it's the Red Sox, the Rays, out of the Central come the Chicago White Sox, and then you go to the West.
Let's go back to the East real quick, though. We talked about Rizzo and Gallo going to the Yanks. What have the Red Sox and the Rays done? I know we got almost 24 hours left. Not quite 24, about 18.
Well, the Rays just traded my Mariners their closer.
That's my point. So the Rays traded their closer. Do they need to do anything, or are the Yankees just going to, they're just going to give it to the Yanks?
I mean, but here's the thing. The Rays are never anybody that makes a move. You know what I mean? They're just going to ride and die with what they have. And the Red Sox are still...
How the Red Sox are where they are.
Because they're still trying to financially recover from, some bad contracts and the Mookie Betts loss. So, I mean, they're just now, they can't do anything.
No.
So... we legit just had a memory pop up. I can't remember from the baseball group or from the page itself, but it was a billboard for the Dodgers thanking the Red Sox for Mookie Betts. So it was great at the time, but it didn't age very good.
I can say this because I have Mookie Betts on my fantasy baseball team. That did not age well for the Dodgers, and I don't think it's going to age well for the Dodgers.
Yeah, because the Red Sox are back. They're quicker than they anticipated. They got rid of Mookie Betts.
Who's the Red Sox manager?
It's Cora, right?
He's back.
Didn't he get suspended and banned and kicked out of baseball for a year, and then he came back and instantly they were good again?
Just 1 year.
You're imagining this.
Just 1 year.
No, I'm just saying. They won a World Series. He left. He back. They're good again.
It's funny to me. My point is that I saw a memory. Everyone was shitting all over the Red Sox for trading Mookie Betts, and it popped up today, and then it was all of a sudden like, wow. Maybe they knew something we didn't know.
So, I mean, are the Padres going to be the exception when it comes to signing these mega deals then as being a team that's good? Because is this what happens? Like you're whiffing on these 10-year deals?
I think that if you sign at the right time, you get out ahead of it like the Rays did years ago with Evan Longoria, who turned out to be a great player for them. You sign these guys if you think they have a super bright upside because you could never predict injuries. Sign them at 21, 22 for what you'd never be able to sign them for at 25.
I mean, that's all you can do. And the people that get ahead of that, they're doing well. I mean, look at, Mr. Brown's Atlanta Braves where they signed, Albies and Acuna, relatively small money.
They signed
compared.
them both for the same amount of money the Phillies signed Harper for.
Yeah, and I feel like that's like we're talking pesos compared to American dollars here.
Yeah.
That's a different story. Like the fact is, they weren't players reaching the open market.
So you think they just had bad agents?
Absolutely.
They did.
They did not they weren't free agents. They were just extending them.
Right. They got them before it ever got close.
Right. And with the Braves, they look like geniuses.
Yeah.
With Albies at $40 million, and he's going to drive in 100 runs this year.
Yep, that's a bargain. But you got the Padres spent all the money on Machado. They signed Tatis to the long-term deal.
I love everything the Padres did. Let me be clear.
You're good with them doing it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hosmer.
No,
Machado.
I love all of it. The thing is, Hosmer was the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to lock up, which Hosmer was a key.
I think he's a good player.
But he was a key ingredient to the Royals World Series, right?
Yeah.
So they was like, let's get us a standard, like a solid first baseman, lock him up. We're paying more because guess what? We're San Diego. No one's here. He's the start of our rebuild, and they did that. And now they're like, we don't have room for him because
traded for Adam Frazier. He's
oh boy, what Jake? How do you say it? Jake what?
Cronenworth.
So now he is their first baseman because Frazier's second base. Yeah. The point is, Hosmer started it all. And he's not like he's a terrible player, but he's consistent. And they're like, well, we've already upgraded past that point. And they're good.
I don't know if this was their plan or not, but I love what they did where they started with Hosmer because San Diego is one of the most beautiful cities in the entire world, especially temperature, weather-wise. So you have the only team in town and you start to build them up. Now people want to play for it.
Who wouldn't want to play in that temperature in San Diego, that environment?
I just didn't know San Diego had that type of payroll they could throw around because
they do now.
Because they've never done it before.
Yeah.
Ever.
They're going retro college style. They got big boosters now.
They must.
I mean, you got Tony Gwynn rolling over in his grave and Trevor Hoffman saying, with my 600 saves, man, why didn't you show me the money?
Yeah.
New ownership? I don't know.
I think it was the 96 World Series. They came in and they were clearly outmatched, but you know what I mean?
It was 99.
Yeah.
Was it 99?
Yep. The year the Yankees
won 96 was the Yankees.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But you know what I'm talking about. The Hoffman days with Tony Gwynn.
They had their one chance. Yeah. And that was it.
And then that was it.
Ken Caminiti.
Yeah, he probably.
God rest his soul.
Steroids, baby.
Yeah.
Hell of a drug. All right, so baseball is vicious at the trade deadline.
We got about 18 hours.
Mr. Brown, you're our resident baseball expert. Is there one move or one player that you think no doubt gets moved before the deadline?
Anything else happening?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard anything.
Chris Bryant?
No, what do you think? There's one guy out there that you just would be amazed if he doesn't get traded.
I mean, Chad just mentioned Chris Bryant. Barrios, we talked kind of off the air, kind of. There's not really a whole lot going on, I wouldn't think. I mean,
the big movers have already moved.
I feel like they have.
Yeah.
Like everyone, as a Braves fan, everyone wants to keep talking, but like, we've already missed the train, man. The train's left.
Well, you can still
might
trade
get some
Freddie.
small pieces.
Yeah, but you're not going to do what's already happened today.
You're going to get a few small pieces in there. I can't say of anything that's going to be like a game changer. But we don't know it. We got 18 hours.
Yeah.
Wake up in the morning, we might be surprised.
Keep your alerts on.
Yeah.
Keep
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, like, you got the clear guys, but then other than that, you just don't know.
The Indians could become sellers.
Who?
The Indians.
Who's that?
They'll always be the Indians to me.
Yeah. So, Jose Ramirez of the Guardians is a good target.
The Guardians.
But Terry Frank going to just step down for the rest of the year. They're sellers now.
Is there anybody left on the Pirates? Tigers? Royals?
Well, I thought that Rodriguez for the Pirates would have got traded by now.
Not that it's a big name, but Adam Duvall's got to go somewhere. He's got like 70 RBIs.
Yeah. He's just sitting down there wasting away in Miami.
Yeah, Adam Duvall's got to go somewhere. Absolutely.
He seems like prime trade bait.
Yeah, he's a great playoff player.
Yeah.
To add to a team, to a contender.
So
it's going to be exciting, guys. I'm going to go live tomorrow.
You should. I mean, there might be some late breaking stuff that pops in, but hey, you know what? It's been an exciting day. So we've had the NBA trades, we got the NBA draft, we've got all the crap going on in the world of football, which is amazing, and then baseball is blowing a gasket at the trade deadline, which always creates a more exciting August, September, and October. Man, it's a good time.
It's a really fun time to be a sports fan right now.
It is, man. Like, if you guys aren't enjoying the world of sports right now, this is I can't help you. Like, you don't have to be the game. It's only baseball playing right now. I mean, notice we didn't really talk much about the Olympics, but all the other American sports is exciting right now. Is that fair?
My favorite part of the Olympics is the man supporting his wife by double fisting beers at 9 a.m.
Oh.
And as friend of the show, Vopane likes to say he's from Vancouver, so he knows what to do.
When you went double fisting, I went a whole other direction.
You thinking something else?
Yeah.
That's a show that we edit the audience.
He has had something to drink.
No, I haven't. I'm just saying double fisting, man. All right, anyway, so I was watching a Olympic game today at the when I had lunch. All right, it looked like a combination of soccer, volleyball, rugby, and basketball. And I don't even know what it was.
Is it Quidditch?
It was Norway versus somebody. And I don't even know what it was, but the score is like 12-11.
It's not pickleball, is it?
I don't know what it was, but I was so dumbfounded on what is this sport and who would train 4 years for this.
You have me very intrigued.
Yeah.
So I will say this. Of all the sports I've watched, the Summer Olympics, all these guys and gals are in super great shape. The one sport that I could never imagine myself even trying, even for like one day where I was like, I'm going to do this, water polo.
Oh,
How they all don't drown. They freaking like tackle each other.
Have you
it's
seen
like
them when they
in the
come
water.
out of a game? They got like claw marks all over them, people bleeding and
You're
whatnot.
like treading water for 12 minutes and then you're dribbling. And then when they swim and they dribble the ball, they dribble it with
They
their
look like a
nose.
seal.
Yeah.
They just pushing the note. But it's got to be. How many people have died playing water polo?
I don't know. I think it's more than have died getting hit in the head by a baseball.
It's such a dangerous looking game. I can't. I never want to play it, man. I have a fear of water polo. And I consider myself a decent swimmer too. Anyway, I think that's all we got today. That was a large amount we unpacked for the masses. Hopefully, everyone got something out of it. You guys got any plans this weekend? I know you're getting ready to travel across this great country, aren't you, Biggie?
I'm going to go all the way across the Midwest, head up North Dakota, frozen tundra. That's not so frozen. Go towards the Badlands, get a new dog, see Mount Rushmore, maybe Crazy Horse.
Okay. That's a lot. That's a good trip. I'm not doing anything like that.
I'll stick my foot in Canada for a minute. Remember my roots.
Yeah.
There you go. I mean, you got to just put a little snow on you. Feel good again. Good times. I got nothing this weekend. I'm going to Ohio for some stupid conference next week, so that'll be exciting. But outside of that, I'm just going to enjoy my weekend and know that we're a month away from the fantasy draft. Mr. Brown, you got anything fun?
It's going to be kind of interesting. I have nothing planned. The wife and kids are gone. So I'm going to sit here and chill, I guess, by myself and just swim in the pool. I mean, there's no Canadian Biggie's gone. You're working, so I guess I'll just be chilling by myself.
I'll do a wellness check on you a couple times.
Please do.
Just to make sure you're all right.
Yeah, just make sure I'm still floating.
Above water.
Yeah.
You know, it is only 4 foot, right?
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Enough sun and big timber, you got to check.
Yeah.
There
Please.
I got you back, brother. All right, guys. Well, everyone have a good weekend. We'll see you next time. This has been the We Don't Know Sports Podcast. See you then.